This Sunday, on episode 53 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
It's that time of the year when we all go into reminisce mode. It was indeed an interesting, eye-opening, mind-boggling, and jaw-dropping year for many of us. Law enforcement officers were found wanting. Healthcare workers left us wondering as the medical board kept us waiting for answers. Drugs and violence in our schools was astonishing. Cyber attacks had us panicking. And men who believe the Bible gives them permission to rape their wives. Lord, have mercy. As a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, what are your thoughts? What interventions or changes would you like to suggest for a better republic in 2024? Or do you think the horse has already bolted? Let's talk about it this Sunday from 10 a.m. on the final Eye on Dependency in 2023. Listen live on I-95.5 FM or join the live stream on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. Eye on Dependency. We don't just share stories. We change lives.
This Sunday, on episode 53 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
It's that time of the year when we all go into reminisce mode. It was indeed an interesting, eye-opening, mind-boggling, and jaw-dropping year for many of us. Law enforcement officers were found wanting. Healthcare workers left us wondering as the medical board kept us waiting for answers. Drugs and violence in our schools was astonishing. Cyber attacks had us panicking. And men who believe the Bible gives them permission to rape their wives. Lord, have mercy. As a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, what are your thoughts? What interventions or changes would you like to suggest for a better republic in 2024? Or do you think the horse has already bolted? Let's talk about it this Sunday from 10 a.m. on the final Eye on Dependency in 2023. Listen live on I-95.5 FM or join the live stream on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. Eye on Dependency. We don't just share stories. We change lives.
All right, so May, let us know if we're on.
If you're hearing us,
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I hope you are hearing us, and May will confirm that in a while. And happy earliest day to each and every one of you.
on New Year's Eve, or however you celebrate it, welcome to our Independency. This is our first for us, as we have discovered. It's only the second time that we are doing our Independency on our anniversary, but it's the first time that we're doing it in the morning, so we have to wake up a little early to get things sorted to be with you this morning. Happy earliest day to you.
All right.
And happy anniversary to us.
Yes, 12 years ago, well, let's just start with that on a light note.
Yes.
12 years ago today, we were preparing to walk down the aisle. And those of you who were at that event will remember, if you remember, it was 12 years ago. So we are more than happy to be here. Those of you joining us on Facebook and YouTube, we thank you. You're loyal. You're being loyal down to the last day. And that is so wonderful. And we'd like to thank you all very much, of course. Later on, we'll tell you all about, Edward, good morning to you. And to those, as I said, loyal listeners and followers who continue to give us encouragement to keep going and keep working and keep trying. And we appreciate that very much. So, as usual, what we will attempt to do today is to reflect a little bit, but we want to as well leave some suggestions as we go forward to 2024. It has been a very rough, as we say, mind boggling and strange year for Trinidad and Tobago. All aspects of our lives were affected. Everyone, no one was spared. Even the churches weren't spared. And for that reason, it's incumbent on us, today being the day that everyone chooses to reminisce, reflect, some, make what they call what do you think?
New Year's
resolutions,
yes,
and all of that. What about our colleagues in different aspects of life, especially in law enforcement? Law enforcement, national security is a main part of our mandate because substance abuse and its related ills affect all of us in some way or the other. And is in this regard, we are going to take you on a journey here this morning so that we could actually remember what happened. This is not a morning to pull anybody down or to kick anyone or any institution while you're down. Everyone took a hit. Law enforcement, the healthcare system, and we're going to that again, reaching out to the medical board, our colleagues in law enforcement, all arms, the schools, the cyber unit that had a lot of work to do, and also, that that gentleman we spoke with who insisted that he should not get arrested for raping his wife. Well, you know what? There are a lot of other men out there who feel like that.
yeah,
And we just want to reiterate this point made by Superintendent Clear Guy Allen, that no means no.
no means no.
And we sticking to that.
Absolutely. Whether in marriage or anywhere else, no means no. Consent is priority, is paramount.
Yes. And so to the men who are there who still feel like that, I'm sorry, but the laws have changed. You no longer own a woman's body. And when she says no, it means no. When a child says no, it means no. And there's nothing that anyone can say to convince us otherwise. I'm sorry. And then Tobago, we're going to touch on Tobago too for a minute. It's sad what you're going through right now, and as we say that, we like to extend condolences to the family of Mr. Ho Choi Charles. For those of you who didn't hear the news, we got it here that Mr. Charles has left us, and we bid him a safe and comfortable journey home. Because since Mr. Charles was alive, we have been making the call and sounding that call to Tobago that things are going to change on your island. And instead, we were pushed back. We were told to mind our business, leave Tobago people business alone, and you name it, we got it. People went so far to even write letters to the radio station telling us to leave Tobago people alone. Tobago don't need help from Trinidad. And that's when we launched the Operation Rescue Tobago series. However, I'm not rubbing it in your face this morning, but as the saying goes, you reap what you sow, So all of that we're going to touch on. And then again, for our police officers, we have one wish. We have a footage of a body cam shooting that was recorded, and we'll show you how important having a body cam is. We will also touch on a short video from the TTPS communications person, Inspector Ansel Ford, as he spoke about fireworks. I also have an image to show you, law enforcement officers, that I want to leave etched in your memory. I really want to do that this morning. Again, for those of you who have never seen it, I hope you can join us to see it and the point that I'm going to make while showing that picture. Of course, once again, the TTPS is recruiting, and we have that to show you, those of you who are interested. This is why I'm showing you that picture this morning, because it's high time people understand what is expected of them when they join the police service. Okay? There are certain things that recruit training cannot change, and that's DNA. Cannot change that. 1,000 push-ups, 1,000-mile run, you name it. You can spend how many times being bashed about as a recruit. The thing is, DNA, that don't change DNA, don't affect DNA. And you have to look at yourself and see where you are with regard to that. And to the medical board, we have something to show you how doctors really operate. How people who are serious about healthcare really operate and what they do about it. You don't find a doctor using drugs and don't tell us what's next for him because he's a convicted criminal. And because he's a convicted criminal, there are certain things that should follow that. We have not heard a word. Dale and Tony have been begging and preaching and bawling and crying every morning to the medical board to say something about this. We know how serious this is, folks. We're not making this up. This is very serious. And it's time we deal with it. Yeah?
Absolutely.
So let's go to a break. And when we return, we start with our law enforcement first. What we heard this year, in some cases, were really ugly. But we have some support to lend and some opinions and advice to give.
And of course, we will take your calls and your messages as soon as we can or later down in the show, and hear what you have to say about not only the topics that we're discussing, but what are your thoughts on how we can make Trinidad and Tobago a better place? That today is the day for that.
Yeah.
How do we want to make 2024 a better time for people in Trinidad and Tobago?
And take the responsibility away from national security, the commissioner, the chief of defense staff. We could do what we want.
The prime minister.
Prime minister.
Everybody
Yeah.
minister.
We tell, everybody asking them to do something about the crime, but
what are we doing?
What are we doing, and how can you really legislate the thinking and the hearts of man? No amount of laws and cars and guns and you name it could change the hearts of man in Trinidad and Tobago. That's what we have to focus on, because the police cannot be everywhere to stop you from killing someone. The Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, even the Commissioner of Police cannot stop you from killing someone if you have to, or hurting someone if you have to.
I mean, and although despite the fact that there are prevention efforts that can be launched by the police, the entire responsibility of preventing crime does not fall on their shoulders. It falls on our shoulders as citizens. And the kind of environment we create, how we interact with each other, how we deal with each other, how we, care about each other in communities and families in the country. And I think that is the root. And God said it. He said it very well. I mean, it is really at the root. We can't expect the authorities, the powers that be, to change. We have to change ourselves, and earliest day is as good a time as any to try and figure out how we do that.
Right. So let's go to this break, and when we return, we start the journey. Let's see how it goes. We'll be back. Stay right there.
government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, continues to develop and implement effective policies and procedures to prevent and suppress human trafficking. To date, the National Task Force has developed 2 national plans of action against the crime of trafficking in persons. Trinidad and Tobago adopts a 4-pronged approach in its response to human trafficking. 1. Effective identification of victims and witnesses. 2. Prevention of human trafficking. 3. Protection of victims and witnesses. And 4. Prosecution of suspected traffickers. In the Ministry of National Security, we established a specialized unit called the Counter-Trafficking Unit to lead and manage Trinidad and Tobago's response to human trafficking. The Counter-Trafficking Unit works closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Immigration Division, and international law enforcement agencies to aggressively and proactively investigate and prosecute suspected human traffickers. Human trafficking is a serious crime. Rest assured, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and its agencies remain committed in the fight against human trafficking and will respond with immediate effect when the need arises.
We are the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago, safeguarding human life.
$50 by $20, $50 by $25.
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Ion Dependency. Thank you to those who are tuned in on I-95.5 and on our Facebook and YouTube channels. We are seeing you. We can't keep our phones too close to the laptop, but we are seeing you and seeing your comments. I actually wanted to share one of the very early comments from a good friend of ours, Nicole Hendrickson, Toko Nikki, who says her suggestion, I just wanted to put this out there immediately. Her suggestion is, my better 2024 is to spend money on proper psychological assessment across the board, from the top all the way to the bottom. Intake interviews only it reveals so much, spend the money there. And I could not agree more. I think there's been a general thrust towards recognizing the importance of mental health since COVID, I think. And we have since we are out of COVID, we kind of lapsed on that. But mental health is so important in all aspects of life and of the protective services, which we're going to talk about now, and law enforcement. And as she says, intake interviews only reveal so much, but are we really doing the kind of psychological assessments that we should be doing for law enforcement officers before and during their service, when they're involved in shootings, when they're involved in, the so-called nefarious activities? How are we dealing with their mental health going forward as law enforcement officers, the kind of things that they see and experience, and how they are taking these things back to their families and their communities.
Especially back to their families.
Right, and how they interact with their fellow officers, and how they translate the work that they have to do. How do they process that? How do they interact with the public? All of these things are very important to how they do their jobs, if they can perform them well, and how, if they can, go the distance, as we say, because for a lot of a lot of law enforcement officers is just a work, right? Nowadays. But for many others, it is a vocation. They are committed and dedicated to serving Trinidad and Tobago, and we have to empower them to do that by creating, the platform for their mental well-being, health and well-being.
For instance, we don't know what happens after a shooting. Let's forget the one who got shot for a while. Let's look at the person who does the shooting, which is the police officer. If you have a police officer who is not affected after shooting someone, as opposed to the officer who would puke, cry, it would affect them in that way. Now they wouldn't want to do it in front of their colleagues because they want them to man up, right? But we have two different scenarios here. Someone should never enjoy shooting someone, especially in law enforcement. However, if to protect the lives of the citizens or yourself, then that has to be done. How it affects you afterwards, that is a cause for concern. And that is where the psychological part of your journey begins. From the time you take that first life or you squeeze that trigger for the first time to protect yourself and your colleagues or a citizen or the citizenry. So that's really important. And I think that's one of the aspects of law enforcement that we have to pay attention to. We're not making any excuses for them. However, who in the kitchen feels the heat? This is why we will never knock law enforcement. We try not to defend the indefensible. But this morning, our one wish, and to those of you in law enforcement, if you will join us for a few minutes, because I have a picture to show you that will affect your future. Also, we're going to show a short man go to video. One wish we would have for you, police officers, is to start wearing your body cameras. We, out here, and I'll say good morning to my brother and sister in Canada here, and the 7th anniversary of our mom's passing, so we're looking forward to meeting and treating with that. But we've also, the work must go on. We've also found a way to put a dent in the turf war in Trinidad and Tobago that will come in subsequent broadcasts. However, we're going to show you some footage of a body camera officer using force on someone, and the body camera picks it up.
The entire interaction.
And there are
people fighting out here? People fighting out here? Union 5-1, clear the air. I don't see no 29 out here.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you guys doing today? Hey, did you guys see a fight or anything going on out here? No. Anybody arguing? How you guys doing?
Hello.
Hey. How you doing, sir?
He's right outside. He has a gun. He put the beer. He's just here, standing here.
What does he look like?
He's right here. Just went outside with the red.
The dreads?
No, wearing a red. Red underwear. It's
red underwear with color shorts.
It's right here.
Yeah, I know. Right here, right here.
Beer, Henneken, and he has 2 beer in the hand.
You can follow him. Okay, subject, that's 10-0. We're going to be meeting him. Hey, put the gun down! Put it down! Put it down! I got an armed subject running. He's armed. Put the gun down! Put it down! You're gonna get shot! Put the gun down now! Put the gun down now! Put it down, man! Put it down! I'm right here! Put the gun down! Put it down! Put it down! Are there people fighting out here? People fighting out here? No? How you doing today, sir? Union 5-1, clear the air. I don't see no 29 out here.
I'm good. How you guys doing today? Hey, did you guys see a fight or anything going on out here? Anybody arguing? How you guys doing? How you doing, sir?
He's right outside. He has a gun. He put the beer. He's just here, standing here.
What does he look like?
He's right here. Just went outside with the red.
The dreads?
No, with a wearing a red. Red underwear. It's
red underwear. What color shorts?
It's right here.
Yeah, I know. Right here, right here.
Beer. Many cake and he has 2 beer in the hand.
You can follow him. Okay, subject, that's 10-0. I'm going to be meeting him. Hey, put the gun down! Put it down! Put it down! I got an armed subject running. He's armed. Put the gun down! Put it down now! You're going to get shot. Put the gun down now! Put the gun down now! Put it down, man. Put it down. I'm right here. Put the gun down. Put it down. Put it down.
Because it is said we have body cameras. You all have body cameras. Why not wear them?
You being used? Why?
Why? We don't know. And we hope that coming 2024, the commissioner will be able to convince her officers, please put on your body camera so that when a news report comes to us of a police shooting,
we don't hear the usual.
They're too wicked, and
the suspect fired at the officers and ended up dead.
Yes, it could be true, right? We're not doubting you, but
every time
for us to totally support you, and again, not only for you. Remember, body camera footage is not to catch you in wrongdoings; it is to protect you as well, so that nobody can go to court and say you murdered their son and their daughter, or you spray down the place just like that without asking questions.
Thank you.
We hope and pray that you see the benefit of wearing your body cameras. Bring Trinidad and Tobago up a level with that, because now we'll be proud again too when that footage is released, because body cam footage are normally released to the public.
Yes.
Right?
Some after the case has been disposed of, or
So we want to show people now who intend to join the police service for a career, not a work. Because if you join it for a work, you will not be able to go the distance. You'll be an 8 to 4 police officer. All right? Do not go to the people's service and no arm of the protective service for that matter. If you want to work, this is a vocation. This is a career. This is why we've had so many chiefs of defense staff, commissioners of police, who went on to do other things because they went the distance. Look at Joanna Archie right now. Look at Joanna Archie. When Joanna Archie should be home relaxing, now she's retired, she's still working because it was a vocation for her. Understand that? That's the love you have for colors and country. And so man put up image E and F for us. So right now we're gonna let you know that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they're recruiting right now. Start your career. Join us as a dedicated male officer. So they're looking at a batch of male officers now. All right. So this image on your screen here speaks to the police service. I say good morning to Susan Lunel, Gloria Jeffrey, Joan Archie, Joan Archie has joined us on YouTube. Yes. Good morning, Joan. You live long. We thank you very much. Yes, she was part of the union too when we got married 12 years ago. But for those of you who intend to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service or any arm of the protective service, but right now the police service recruiting, image F speaks to instructions, and I'm sure if you go on the Facebook page of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, you will get more information. And the prerequisites for applicants: male citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, ages 18 to 35 years old, at least 167 centimeters in height, a minimum of 5 CXO level passes, grades 1, 2, and 3. Now, that is a discussion we could have at a later date because, you know,
minimum requirements.
The minimum requirements, that could be a stretch for some.
5
you know.
levels, it doesn't sound onerous, you know.
I know.
Given the responsibilities of a police officer, it does not sound onerous at all.
But I can tell you that some of the best servicemen who I know served Trinidad and Tobago in all arms of the protective service only at school level.
Yeah, but
and they were dedicated. You could ask
we're in 2023 now. We need to get with the times, and we need to modernize. And I think 5 CXC O level or CSEC passes, as it's called now, I don't think that's onerous at all. Remember the kind of very weighty responsibilities and authority that police officers have over citizens in this country. That is not onerous at all. I mean, if they were asking for a first degree or a bachelor's, then I could say, well, maybe.
Let's not go back to the even short. Let me finish with the F so that people who are listening and you want to join the police service, this is what is needed of you: a valid driver's license, not a learner's permit. Address stated on the driver's license must be the applicant's current address. 2 testimonials, not from family members. 2 passport size photographs. Applicants are to work with original copies of their documents. And some of your benefits would be meal allowances, housing allowance, cost of living allowance, free medical, dental and optical services, paid leave, uniforms and accessories, special duty allowance, tax-free.
And accessories include a body cam. I would
And
assume.
we hope that with them. Yes. And I hope that they would start training. Let's Joanne, maybe you could suggest this, and I would be National Security Minister is listening. What about we start training this batch that you're all going to intake here now with body cameras? Let's start from training to get them to use the body cameras, get them accustomed to it, so it will be a common part of the kit when they're dressing to go to work, when they're putting on their kit to go out there on duty, that the body cameras will be part of that. So let's see if we can train a batch with body cameras. And that will be big news for Trinidad and Tobago, I'm sure, and it will make the service really proud. So for more information, you can contact the Police Academy at 622-3171 at extension 22127. Again, the number is 622-3171 and the extension is 22127. If you are interested in a career, stressing on the word career. Okay? Now the applicants are asked to appear for screening at the mentioned venues, undermentioned venues in the following dates as per surnames. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. As per surnames. So January 12th, 2024, they go from A to M. This starts at 6 a.m. Listen again, from January 12th, 2024, people with the surnames beginning with A to M. That's January 12th, is your date. And on January 13, surnames beginning with N to Z. N to Z. And the locations are Police Academy, Salmon Drive, St. James, Municipal Police Training Academy, Tagore Avenue, Marbella. So again, January 12th, surnames beginning with A to M. This is from 6 a.m. they start. And January 13, 2024, from N to Z. And they're using 2 locations. So I believe Joanne can clear this up for us. Is it that the Police Academy, Salmon Drive, St. James, and Municipal Training Academy, Tagore Avenue, Marbella? I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
So
is it the same day that they're taking these
I would assume so.
Yeah, so
both locations at the same day on the same time.
A to M, January 12th, surname begins with A to M, and January 13th, surnames beginning with N to Z. Now, again, the Police Academy for more information. You contact the Police Academy at 622-3171, extension 22127. That being said, put up image D for me. Before we move on, image D will speak to the law enforcement in Trinidad and Tobago. Image D speaks to a photograph that was taken that I use in lectures. Again, for those of you seeing this for the first time, the photo on the left of your screen, that's me at my first Independence Day parade after I passed out. And the photo on the right is me in prison clothes. And the title is Opportunity Lost. So I lost that opportunity. Maybe it's for me now to be here speaking with you alongside Natasha to try to help you. I want to say to law enforcement officers, every arm of law enforcement under national security, when you decide to sign up for a career in any arm of the protective service, you are asked to take an oath, not to the commissioner, not to the chief of defense staff, commissioner of police, or chief fire officer. You are asked to take an oath to a higher power. Why? Because that higher power is the only being that can keep an eye on you. Hence the reason why when you run afoul, you don't get away. See this picture I have here? I use it at my presentations because I want people to understand, law enforcement to understand that when you're serving the colors of Trinidad and Tobago. You're serving the colors of your unit. And anytime you go against your oath, you disrespect your colors. So those of you in law enforcement right now who are going down the wrong road, I ask you to think again, because you will regret. I guarantee you, as night follows day, you will regret going against your oath. There are officers, there are law enforcement officers who are spending their first Christmas in prison, Natasha.
Yep. Yes.
They're spending their first Christmas in prison. I don't know if you got a hot cross bun like I did. But Christmas in prison is when it really hits home. I spent my first Christmas in prison in 1990. And let me tell you, it was surreal. There are officers right now who's spending their first Christmas in prison. All because, you see the picture I have up on the screen here? There's a very thin line between both pictures. That's your service right there. See that line? It's very thin. I call it the line of life. And you see that line with my mugshot on the right side here? When I crossed that line, I couldn't go back. I had to keep going. My problem was substance abuse. And it was not an easy journey. And it's only until when I ended up in prison, is then it hit me hard. I disrespected my family. I hurt my family to the max. That almost killed my mother. Thank God my brother and sister was out in Canada already. That they couldn't lift that shame, because we come from a very proud family like that. So it really hurt them. Thank God my brother and sister have forgiven me. And we because I love them dearly and they love me. The thing is, there are officers right now who will tell you that leaving prison and they went back home and they found an empty shell. You lose your pension, you lose your gratuity. The longer you serve, it's harder it is for you when you get kicked out of your colors. So I want you to look at this picture, this last day of the year, and keep it focused in the front of your mind that you don't want to end up with a picture like this. You don't. It hurts me every time I look at it. But if I could use it now, so that I can help you stay focused, stick to your oath, and understand that this is a vocation, it's a career, it is not a work. I'm stressing on that because duty calls at any time. For those joining the military, understand what you signed up for. Let your families understand what you signed up for. Don't be happy to let them join, and then when they can't come home, you're showing up at the people camp and boy, when my husband, with my child, I ain't see my child for days, or look, keep my child here. Hello, he joined the military. She joined the military. A police officer could reach home and get a phone call. Depends on the unit that they're in, and they have to go back out. All year's day, all year's night, Christmas Day. You have to work. It's called a career. It's called duty to God and country. Remember, anytime you cross that thin line between the both pictures you're seeing here, you're gone. For those of you who already crossed that line but still privileged to have your uniform on, to have your kit, please, I beg of you, try to make a turnaround, because it reflects bad on your colors. It reflects bad on your commissioner. It reflects bad on us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Please, there's a police officer right now. He was charged for killing 2 people. 2.
And he tried to kill 5.
Well, it seems as though he tried to kill 5 of them. Now, that's a blemish. It's a blemish on your colors. His family did not spend a good Christmas, I can tell you that, because now he going to jail twice. Double murder and attempted murder. Come on, people. Come on. Serving your country is dutiful. Serving your country is beautiful. Serving your country is a privilege, not a right. But when you get that privilege, please, I beg of you, make use of it. Don't throw it away. Every time you put that kit on, feel like that person who intends to protect our country and not use that kit to do whatever you want and feel you will get away with it. Remember that oath you took. That was my rant for this morning. I hope you all understand, and I hope you all appreciate what I'm bringing to the table, what we're bringing to the table here this morning. Natasha?
Yes, and thank you for that, Garth. I know that this is very dear to you, right? This topic, based on the career that you lost, and you talk about not being able to, or if your dying wish would be to return to Tetron and put on the colors, but unfortunately that cannot happen. And that thin line that was crossed, that can never be crossed again. It's like, you're going into the unknown, and you are throwing away your career, not just your career, but your life, because that's it for you.
Yeah.
Really and truly. So
Yeah.
I hope that sticks in some people's heads. If you are considering joining the service, whether it's police, fire, military, or otherwise, prison, think very carefully. Think very carefully about the choice that you're going to make.
Yep.
And before we move on to the next topic, which is very concerning to me personally, let me say that I saw a video on TikTok, Garth, with Roy Keane, who is a former Manchester United player, right? And it was a funny video, but his take on it is, he said there are 3 things that are overrated in his mind. The 3 things. Now, if you know the individual I'm talking about, this would come as no surprise to you. The 3 things Roy Keane thinks are overrated include parties, smiling, and fireworks. And I have to tell you, I am 100% in agreement with him about the fireworks, because what is the point of fireworks? I still don't understand the obsession and the excitement that comes with the noise that fireworks exhibit. I personally don't get it. To me, it's noise, right? And noise that is harmful not only to humans but to animals. Okay, it has been really bad this year from all of the people that I follow on social media, the kind of reports that they're having of how they've had to try and protect themselves and their animals from the noise of the fireworks that people are setting off. It's excruciating. It is disgusting. And the fact that law enforcement is unable to prevent people from setting off fireworks is a chain reaction, really, because you can go to any tent on the side of the road and purchase fireworks, right? So it's not as if it's accessible to any and everybody. These noise making devices, these explosive devices that are accessible to any and everybody, the police can't do anything about that, unfortunately. But we do have Inspector
Ford.
Inspector Ford, who was on TV6 recently talking about the issue of fireworks. And again, this goes back to what we said earlier about how can we as citizens contribute to a safer society. This is one way. Make a decision not to use fireworks. How about that? Save yourself potential injury and harm. How many stories have we heard about children getting their arms blown off and being injured by fireworks? Save yourself that stress. Save your neighbors the stress of having to sedate themselves and people having to sedate their animals to deal with the noise of these fireworks.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, save yourself. Spend your money on something else because fireworks are not cheap. Spend your money on something else. Buy something nice for your neighbor. Or do something nice. Put together a hamper for some underprivileged children or people now. Why are you spending your money on fireworks? To do what? I don't...
Calm down.
I don't
understand.
Understand it.
Let's go to Ansel Ford, now the communications person for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, as he spoke with Marlon Hopkinson. And once again, today is that day. They start already, I'm sure.
Yeah, they start since Christmas.
Right. So let's go to that video and let's hear, for those of you who missed it, let's hear what Inspector Ansel Ford had to say about fireworks. Let's go to
and you can play the videos back to back, BNC.
Yes, BNC. Let's go to that short man. And thank again for those of you who joined us on Facebook and YouTube and listen on the radio.
Are there people fighting out here? People fighting out here?
So if you're speaking about it must be, you can let it off 60 feet from the center of the roadway. Yeah, it would. I'm hearing you saying it, and I'm just thinking that all of this fireworks that is being set off in residential areas, nearly everyone is breaking the law.
Yes, Marlon, that is a fact. And the question is,
unless you have a field.
And hence the reason why I spoke about the field or open space that you can go to. And the question might be, so what the police doing about it?
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, Marlon, the police, we are quite aware of our culture. We are quite aware of the fact that persons will enjoy themselves by way of little fireworks. And our intent is not to criminalize persons, right? And then to almost on every street, there will be numerous persons setting off.
However, yes, there may be the claim that what some people are doing to the communities is criminal. You don't have to criminalize people,
no,
but what they're doing, it is breaking the law.
It is breaking the law. That is plain and simple. It is breaking the law, right? And whilst this is that you do not hear much of persons being arrested and charged, Marlon, there would have been instances where persons would have been arrested and charged. But it is not something I want to say that the police service wants to go about, just simply locking up everyone for fireworks. We want to more encourage the point of being safe. We know that we cannot be on every street. We cannot be in front of every household. So to reach out to members of the public in terms of advising them to be safe. At the end of the day, we don't want persons to be injured. We don't want property to be damaged. We want you to comply with the law, but the reality is we cannot be everywhere. So to take the point of being proactive and saying, be safe, I think is a good approach by the TTPS. And Section 100 makes it an offense for anyone to set off or to let off fireworks within 60 feet of the center of a road. Typically, people go in the road, right? And they would set off the fireworks. But if it is that you set it off from the distance of the center of the road to wherever you have it, if it is within 60 feet, you are breaking the law, right? And it carries a penalty of $400. Now, whilst it is that we understand that persons want to enjoy themselves, want to recognize New Year's in the traditional way, it is important that you do so. Try to be in compliance with the law, but of paramount importance is the issue of safety, Marlon, right?
Yeah, so there you heard this guy trying to sneak back in the picture. Yeah, you heard the inspector about the police's position on the fireworks, and to my mind, it's an issue not just of personal responsibility on the part of adults in Trinidad and Tobago, but also it's a matter of accessibility. These explosives are too accessible to people. It's that simple. I can't think of any other reason why you would allow fireworks to be sold on the side of the street under a tent. That makes no sense to me. In a country where you want to have law and order, having access to explosive devices at the side of the road under a tent makes no sense. It's defeating the purpose. I don't know why the laws exist if they cannot be enforced for the sale of fireworks. But again, it's something that, again, if we are not agitating against it enough, if the people who are importing and selling these devices are not, can do so free sheet and without consequence, then we will continue to have the unnecessary noise, the harmful effects, and after, I'm sorry to say that, from Christmas and even from Diwali to New Year's, we will continue to see dead animals on the road. People will continue to mourn for their animals and their loved ones who are affected directly by the noise that fireworks make. So I don't know. People, I don't know. I don't know how you convince people not to engage in that kind of so-called entertainment, but it makes no sense to me.
Well, you heard Inspector and so forth. So, folks, please be guided. Please. I really feel it for animals. I mean, we have free cats and we see the mess that they are in every time those fireworks start to go up. I mean, they run east, west, north, and south before they find a place to hide. It freaks them out. There are old people, senior citizens who it affects as well. And I'm hoping that coming in the new year, we could have some legislation towards this, because you can't tell people don't use fireworks, but then you have it selling by the side of the road. Easy, you could just stop and buy and fill your trunk. We're contradicting what we're saying, and we need to do something about it, right? Good morning to those of you, again, who are joining us on YouTube and Facebook. We love you all so much, because you all, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe to it. And because we have a very, very serious journey for you in 2024. So good morning to Amy, Catherine, Carol, Joanne. Joanne said, noted the body camera is critical tool in law enforcement, and we need to employ that. Again, the suggestion would be, and I hope the minister is listening, that he can pass on this to the commissioner. Please, this new batch you're taking in here, let's start training them with the body cameras, with full equipment. We look at the law enforcement officers overseas, and you all go on courses, you see them, when they put on, they look like literally like RoboCop, because the amount of equipment they have on them.
Yep. And they drive with this
and they drive with the same way,
with their seatbelts.
So please, let's try and up our look, the optics. Let's consider that. And when we hear about police involved shooting, the body cameras can prove you right, and nobody can question it. Before we go to the break, because when we return, we have the medical board to deal with, and we have that video to show you as well. We're going to deal with schools. I just want to announce the passing of a very dear friend who I grew up under, you know, and I have to drive home this point. Just 2 days ago, you know, I was asked to intervene in his life a very long time ago. And I say hello to Beverly out there in Brooklyn right now, and to Jose in San Fernando. Jose, boy, you know, I'm really heartbroken right now because just 2 days ago we spoke to each other and I said, as soon as I return, we'll go and look for God and try to convince him to stop drinking alcohol to the point of death. And unfortunately, he passed today. And, you know, I don't know, I'm sure it's my namesake, and I'm sure that, you know, there's something that could have been done, but we have so many lives to save that, you know, he's from La Romaine. He passed. And let me take this opportunity to talk to you, the addict who just came out of rehab. Christmas time to Carnival time is a very, very precarious time for you. To the families, you should not allow the person who just came out of rehab, especially if alcohol was their problem, to be around alcohol. I know you can't monitor the person 24/7, but anytime you see them drinking, you know something is wrong. They're going to relapse. And to your friends, to their friends, please let their friends know that they have to protect that friend who just came out of rehab and trying to get their life together, whether it be alcohol or other drugs. You cannot allow them to go out and party around alcohol and be around people, because it's going to destroy them and their families. I beg of you all, please. I mean, it's safe to say that Garth drank himself to death because everybody tried. All his friends tried. You know, I could imagine how Bev feeling right now in Brooklyn, because he's one. We all grew up in Pleasantville together, you know, but he never put down that bottle. And I'm sorry, I'm really heartbroken this morning, but God knows best, and he's resting now. Thank God he's away from all that is destroying him. And ironically, his family, his children are down here too for the Christmas, so I'm sure they didn't expect this. So God, boy, ride on in peace. You know, I'm really, really, really sorry. Just keep me abreast, guys, of when, you know, you're all sending him home, all right?
And it's a good reminder to, amidst the sadness, that addiction is a very painful disease for the addict. It is, they don't take any pleasure in doing what they do, what they are compelled to do. They are in pain. They are sick. And it's helpful to remember that when they pass in circumstances like this, because it reminds you that they are in fact ill, and their passing has relieved the pain that they are experiencing.
And I want to call again on Angostura. We're not one of your favorites. We understand why. But understand what you're selling is a drug too.
Yep.
Okay? The crack pusher and the marijuana pusher cannot advertise like you do. You're one of the richest organizations in the country because alcohol flows like water. You see, between now to Carnival is your best time. Because every Sunday, every weekend is something. During the week and all. It is time. If you don't want to join us, that's fine. But it is time you start educating the public on the dangers of the drug that you sell. Don't leave that for the government to do. You do it. It's you selling it. And there are some things we want to show you in the coming program of how Angostura can step up their game with regard to educating you, the public of Trinidad and Tobago. Giving out a swing and giving out hampers and all kind of things. Still, don't let people know how dangerous alcohol is. It's dangerous bad. Most of our road deaths, alcohol responsible for it. Most of the domestic violence in our country, alcohol responsible for it when people
Even
consume
most
alcohol.
of the disease that we see in our healthcare system
Correct.
related directly to alcohol.
The alcohol. Understand that. Yes, you're good. We know you're good. And then I said, you don't need to partner with us because we had one chance to do it, and you feel, well, people will stop drinking once we... No, they won't stop drinking, but there are those who need help. Just like the ones who use crack cocaine and other hard drugs. There are those who can use it and nothing happen to them, but there are those from the time they smell alcohol, that's it, they're gone. You need to understand that, and we're not going to let up where that is concerned. Hate us, I don't care. It makes me sleep better knowing that we're trying to educate the public that the drug that you selling is dangerous, just like crack cocaine and marijuana. Understand that. So let's go to a break, and when we return, drug-addicted healthcare workers and prescription drug abuse among nurses and medical professionals. We'll show you that. Those of you who are just joining us, we thank you very much. You're listening to Our Dependency. And for those of you on Facebook and YouTube, love you much. You made us who we are, and we thank you for your support. Love you. We go to a break, and we'll be back.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, continues to develop and implement effective policies and procedures to prevent and suppress human trafficking. To date, the National Task Force has developed 2 national plans of action against the crime of trafficking in persons. Trinidad and Tobago adopts a 4-pronged approach in its response to human trafficking. 1. Effective identification of victims and witnesses. 2. Prevention of human trafficking. 3. Protection of victims and witnesses. And 4. Prosecution of suspected traffickers. In the Ministry of National Security, we established a specialized unit called the Counter-Trafficking Unit to lead and manage Trinidad and Tobago's response to human trafficking. The Counter-Trafficking Unit works closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Immigration Division, and international law enforcement agencies to aggressively and proactively investigate and prosecute suspected human traffickers. Human trafficking is a serious crime. Rest assured, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and its agencies remain committed in the fight against human trafficking and will respond with immediate effect when the need arises.
We are the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago, safeguarding human life.
(50/20, 50/25).
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on 95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Ion Dependency. We are coming to you live from Toronto, Canada, where we are celebrating our 12th anniversary on this 31st of December 2023. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're listening to us live on I-95 or you are tuned in via Facebook or YouTube, we thank you very much for being here with us.
Before we go to that video of the healthcare, what we're trying to reach out, anybody who know anybody from the medical board, please tell them to put on the radio for a minute, please. Because we want to show them what really should happen when a doctor is discovered using drugs. We're not playing that game because, you see, we don't know where this doctor is up to now, and we don't know if this doctor who was found with ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy, and was smoking marijuana at the same time in a vehicle. I'm going to congratulate that police officer who found that. He got a slap on the wrist, as you all know, $14,000 charge, but he pleaded guilty. Now we know what ketamine can be used for, especially it can be also used as a date rape drug. People who use mushrooms hallucinate. So imagine a doctor going to operate on you and he just take a hit of mushrooms and you turn out that he see a snake on the table. How many doctors already probably kill people who using drugs that we don't know in Trinidad and Tobago? Because our best kept secret is this medical fraternity. They circle their wagons around each other. Well, it's time we get past that. But before we go to that video, this to the schools. And we want to once again, thank this Minister of Education for being the person that she is, for speaking out without fear or favor. When I heard that first comment the first time, I did a cartwheel, because we tried our best to convince past ministers of education that there's a drug problem that's going to grip our schools, and nobody took us seriously. Now we live to hear a minister finally admit that we have drug addicts in our schools and what she intends to do about it. But I want to say to you parents out there, the Minister of Education comes last. You come first. And if you continue to support your child using drugs before they reach the age of 25, prepare for a brain damaged child. It's as simple as that. And I'm putting it raw and hard for you this morning. Your child brains are being damaged. And when you're sweating in front of the school when exam time comes, keep in mind that when you give them alcohol and other drugs to use as a rite of passage, as you think, or giving them alcohol for the worms and all of these things, you contribute to damaging their brains.
Setting them up.
You're setting them up. To those of you adults who would give children drugs to take to school to sell, we ask you to think again. Let's protect somebody now. Let us look out for somebody. Long ago, we couldn't go on block and lime and things as youngsters, you know. The elders used to run us off the block and run us home. Now you're encouraging youngsters to come and sit down among you and passing joint to them and all kind of foolishness. Stop it. Stop it. Let's save some generation, please. Because you see how it's going right now. These young men just killing out each other. And as I said, while we're here, we'll be doing some research too as well. And we saw what Canada did, and we're taking notes of it so that we'll show you in return how to put a serious dent in the turf war. It will put a dent in the turf war, trust me. But for now, to the school children, your father giving you drugs to use, tell him no, you want to preserve your brains. To parents who continue to do this, understand that you're contributing to damaging your child's brain. I can't put it any other how. You're helping to damage your child. As simple as that. So if you think it's fun, later down the road, you're going to pay the price for it. Because some of you have mental ill health running in your family. But yet, you want me to help you find out why your child in St. Hands. And not knowing that some of them are predisposed because they have mental ill health running in their family.
And also, guys, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about parenting and the fact that, generations ago, people used to parent differently, but we are experiencing the same problems. Parents haven't changed. Parents haven't changed.
Yes,
from
they have.
50 or 60. They were teenage mothers in the 40s and 50s, okay?
All right.
What has changed is the society that we live in, the risks and the things that children are exposed to and adults are exposed to, and the amount of things and distractions that are around, especially with these devices. These devices has contributed a lot to the distractions. But I just wanted to put in there that in as much as we probably think that parents need to step up, and they do, parents also need to my mind, do some research now. Do some research, and don't think that children can raise themselves. What is good for you, or what could be good for you, or what you passed through when you were growing up is not going to be good for your child. So for instance, if your mother used to beat you to a frazzle and you think you turned out okay, it's not okay for you to beat your child to a frazzle. If your mother gave you or your father gave you a nip, a rum, or pass a joint to you when you were younger and you turned out okay, so you think it's not okay to do that for your child. You don't pass those traditions on to your children, because as God said, you're damaging them, you're setting them up for a lifetime of failure, setting them up to fail. Because you introduce these substances into their system before their brain has developed fully, you are setting them up to fail.
And let me just add, to you adults out there, time to start adulting. So when you see children walking in a rum shop to buy alcohol, send them back home. You, the proprietor, send them back home. Send them out.
It's not about the money. Don't study the money.
Don't study. It can't be about the money. To those of you who run nightclubs, who allow children to come into your club, start carding children. And when I say that, ask them for their ID. So that law enforcement, I think this is another way we could step up the game too with the protecting our children. Start sending undercover officers in these clubs and just randomly ask people for their ID. Make sure that we insist now that citizens walk with their ID. So that before you go in a club, if you don't have an ID, hard luck, it can't be about the money. I remember when Natasha and I, we were in London one time doing our research on the prison system, and it was around the World Cup time, I think, and we went to get something to eat, Olympics, and we get something to eat in a sports bar. While we were there, some children walked in, graduation time for some of them, and right away the owner came downstairs. And you know what he said to them? Come on, let's see some IDs, please. And one of them protested and said, I'll be 18 next month. He said, well, come back next month. Because he knows that if there's police inside that club, see him serving minors alcohol, he gets his license revoked immediately. They don't play with that. So it's time we start adulting and start protecting our children and stop helping to destroy their lives. Stop giving children drugs to carry to school to sell. Schools are not for drugs. At least let them get their education, man. And protect the teachers too at the same time. All right? So let's move on quickly because we want to take some of your calls. So Shopman, line up video G for me. Now, recently, folks, you heard of, or you read, and you heard Tony and Dale spoke about this doctor, a young doctor, who was arrested and charged for possession of Class A drugs. 4. He pled guilty to the charge. So which means my questions were, why didn't we go further? Who was the clientele? Who were his clients? Other doctors? Patients? Because you can't tell me a doctor, well, he's a polyaddict then.
Or was he a mini drug lord?
Or who was he selling these things to? Ketamine, mushrooms, Do your own research. And to this day, the medical board, because you don't respect the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because you feel that above us and all our gods, that you are untouchable. Well, let me show you in our first world country how they deal with this. Let's go to video G for a short one. Let's look at it.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
A silent drug abuse crisis is striking hospitals around the country, so today we're going to bring it to light. It's called drug diversion. Now, you might recall the TV show Nurse Jackie, in which Edie Falco plays that main character, a pill-popping addict who steals drugs from the hospital where she works. Well, get this. This isn't just a fictional plotline. Here are 2 real-life stories. Hospitals and healthcare facilities are hiding a dirty secret. It's called drug diversion, and in the worst cases, it's caused widespread disease outbreaks.
When I was working as a nurse, my drug of choice was opiate pain medications, mostly pills.
I work as a nurse in Wisconsin. When I was using, I diverted drugs from the hospital that I worked for.
It didn't matter to me whether it was Percocet or Vicodin. The opiates were my preference. It started because I had had an old injury and I was going to a pain clinic. I started taking drugs after a mild surgical procedure. I was prescribed Vicodin and Norco. I found myself
come back to us for a minute.
pain so that I could get more prescriptions.
Right, before we continue with this, I want to remind people who follow Iron Dependency. One of the nurses speaking here, we interviewed her on Iron Dependency.
Yes.
When we were on the evening time.
Christine Labat.
Christine Labat. Listen to her carefully. And we did that interview when we first heard about the doctor who went, two doctors went in San Fernando to get drugs. One of them ended up dying, getting killed. Remember that? We forget these things very quickly. So this nurse who's speaking here, we interviewed her live.
Ended up in prison, huh?
And she ended up in prison too. Listen carefully. Let's go short.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
A silent drug abuse crisis is striking hospitals around the country, so today we're going to bring it to light. It's called drug diversion. Now, you might recall the TV show Nurse Jackie, in which Edie Falco plays that main character, a pill-popping addict who steals drugs from the hospital where she works. Well, get this. This isn't just a fictional plot line. Here are two real-life stories. Hospitals and healthcare facilities are hiding a dirty secret. It's called drug diversion, and in the worst cases, it's caused widespread disease outbreaks.
When I was working as a nurse, my drug of choice was opiate pain medications, mostly pills. I work as a nurse in Wisconsin. When I was using, I diverted drugs from the hospital that I worked for. It didn't matter to me whether it was Percocet or Vicodin. The opiates were my preference. It started because I had had an old injury and I was going to a pain clinic. I started taking drugs after a mild surgical procedure. I was prescribed Vicodin and Norco. I found myself complaining of back pain so that I could get more prescriptions from my doctor. I was running out of my prescriptions, and that's kind of when it started. It occurred to me one day that we throw away a lot of narcotics, and I decided to start taking them. It started with small amounts. I would take a pill from a patient, or if there was waste left over, I would use that. I really liked the drugs. I liked the way it made me feel. After a while, it just became necessary. The first time that I took that fentanyl, I had an immediate craving. It was at that point that I would steal it. Within minutes of being in the hospital, I would be in the drug cabinet taking it. When I was at my worst, I would need medications to get out of bed. If I didn't have any, I would become sick and, just have withdrawal symptoms. It got progressively worse to where I was taking it every time I was at work. My addiction got to the point where I was calling in prescriptions with a doctor's ID for about a month before the pharmacy caught on. I confessed to what I did, and I was very quickly fired. The police were brought in, was charged with like 26 felonies. I was put in jail overnight. I was mortified. It was the worst moment of my life. That was my rock bottom. I did get a job in a doctor's office, told him my whole story, and gave me a chance. And to thank him for that, about a week after I started working there, I was calling in prescriptions for myself and under his name. I did that for about 3 months before they caught me. Again, I was arrested, charged with 9 felonies, and I spent about 4 months in jail. After I was arrested, the board of nursing was notified and my license was placed on probation. I lost my job.
Amy and Kristen now join us, and I know this isn't easy to open up about. And yet I thank you for doing this. Kristen, I want to start with you because here you are working as a nurse, at this point in time stealing drugs. What happened after you were caught?
Well, once I was caught, I lost my job. They fired me. I lost my nursing license, and I decided to confess because I just couldn't take the guilt and the shame I was feeling. So they did end up charging me with 26 felonies. And I ended up with just a misdemeanor and some probation.
Amy, what about you? When you arrived at the pharmacy and police were there, what happened?
I remember arriving, seeing the officer at the counter talking to the pharmacist, and they were just nonchalantly talking, and thinking, he's not here for me, he's visiting his pharmacist friend. It was pretty severe.
Right, that's the first one. Before we go to H, so the Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago, this is how serious medical boards deal with this issue. Okay? They don't play games, they don't hide, because you see, the lives of the nation's citizenry are in the hands of doctors. And one wrong cut, one wrong prescription can change the life of a person forever. And we've heard of several things with doctors in this country, and not one of them ever ended up. When last our country's how old now? 60, 62? Have we ever heard of a doctor going to court to answer charges for anything? Our doctors are so magnificent. Come on.
We hardly ever hear of malpractice
Come on.
suits in this country.
Come on, if
we
we're wrong, correct us.
We know, those of us who use the public healthcare system and just existing, we know that there's a lot of malfeasance and malpractice going on in those hospitals.
When drugs disappear from the hospital, as you heard the nurses said, and we interviewed Christine, and we'll bring her back again, because we intend to keep this on the front burner, that you cannot have doctors hooked on drugs, and doctors have their own drug blockade, because as you heard Christine said, from the time she reached in the hospital, she should go head straight for the medicine cabinet. So they have a variety of drugs to choose from. And yet the medical board stayed quiet when a doctor was found with 4 Class A drugs on him. Where is he now? What is he doing? Because according to Tony said, he has a criminal record.
Yep.
All right. Now, here's what we're advocating for. Let's go to video H, and let's show you what this doctor could be doing for other doctors, because we are 150% sure there are more doctors like him in our system.
There are.
Let's
because
go.
Doctors are human beings and are susceptible to addiction as well.
That's right. Let's go.
Doctors and nurses.
More than 5% of Hoosiers have abused prescription drugs. The data from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration shows it's a growing problem, particularly among healthcare workers. The term used to describe it is healthcare drug diversion. It occurs when hospital workers steal medications from a facility. As Barbara Harrington reports, loopholes in the law are making it difficult for law enforcement and hospitals to combat the problem.
So this one here.
Rigo Garcia dedicates his life to helping others.
The first time I met him, he was pre-opping a patient, and just his compassion for others and the way I saw him pre-op his patient, and I knew right then and there that he was genuinely in the profession because he wanted to care for people.
No one imagined the highly successful certified registered nurse anesthetist would need some help himself.
I was very, very driven professionally, very driven with my family.
But 4 years ago, Rigo severely broke his ankle. His doctor prescribed Vicodin. But even after the pain went away, Rigo kept taking the drug every day after work. At his worst, up to 12 pills in just one night. And it turned into a habit that proved nearly impossible to break.
When I did go back to work, still on prescription medications, I would just not take them while I was at work. I would take them, I would run home to take them. I would take them before work, on the weekends, anytime I could. This is Dougie, the drug dog. Dougie's a real dog.
Rigo's story sounds familiar to many of the people in this room. They're attending a training session hosted by the National Association of Drug Diversion Investigators, hoping to learn more about how to prevent and recognize drug diversion.
Diversion happens at every facility across the country that handles controlled substances. It's universal among institutions.
Kimberly New works as a controlled substance security consultant. She helps hospitals develop policies to prevent and recognize diversion. She says when providers abuse prescription drugs, they're putting everyone at the hospital at risk.
Patients can be harmed in a number of ways by a diverting healthcare provider. If they're a direct care provider, they may be working impaired and may actually render incompetent care to a patient, and the patient may be harmed.
It's difficult to put a number on how often that's happening because some facilities aren't reporting the problem. Instead, they choose to discipline employees themselves or ignore the issue altogether, a tactic police say isn't helping.
I think that majority of non-reporting is done deliberately. And I think some of it has to do with media. They're concerned about media attention, they're concerned about liability, lawsuits, all those things that I get that, but you know, when you don't report or you delay it, the liability and the issues can be much, much greater than just doing what's right when it happens.
There are regulations in place that require people to report instances of drug diversion at their workplaces, but it's hard to enforce. Columbus Police Department Sergeant Jay Frederick says compliance would be higher if regulations were tougher.
There are some things in place, but there's still a lot of loopholes. So it would be good to see the federal government lock that down, address this diversion in the healthcare field as a significant issue, and lock down some reporting requirements.
But in the meantime, Frederick says increasing awareness can go a long way in fighting drug diversion. He says healthcare providers are often nervous to ask for help or report others who may need it because they don't know the consequences. In Indiana, if professionals admit their addiction and successfully complete treatment, they can have the criminal charges removed from their records and their licenses can remain intact.
There's not many professions or jobs where you can own up to the addiction issue, go right into the treatment that's going to get you better, get you healthy, but you can keep your license and you can keep on practicing.
That's something Rigo didn't realize when he was struggling with his addiction. It took the hospital CEO confronting him and giving him an ultimatum before he got help.
If I knew personally what correct steps I could have taken, I would have done something a lot sooner. But the bottom line is I didn't know what steps were available to me at that time. I didn't know that there was a treatment center that I can go to and my job would be safe. And the thrills of round one of the addiction.
It's been more than 4 years since Rigo's abused pain medications, but it's still a part of his life he doesn't hide. He still works as a CRNA, but spends his spare time sharing his story with others, hoping to make a difference.
To tell us more about why this problem exists and what's being done to fix it, reporter Barbara Harrington joins us now. You know, it's not something you really think about when you're in the hospital. Your mind's on much other things, but what are healthcare workers doing to help divert themselves from that?
Now, folks, to you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, wouldn't you like a system like this? Would you like to know that your healthcare professional will get the help that they need? Because we have a number of them during COVID time. I'm sure the addiction took really hold of them during that time because they had to be on the ball constantly.
Yes, and we remember asking a senior medical professional who's a former member of parliament about the services available to physicians and nurses, and he flat out said there is nothing available to
Are we
them.
crazy?
Even as workers, they are not entitled to, or they don't have access to treatment for drug addiction. Really?
So those of you who are going to have doctors, personal doctors, and going to the healthcare, how do you know that doctor seen about you is not addicted to some substance? The Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago needs to make a comment very serious about this because this is a very serious issue. And the thing is, you cannot blame certain officials when they choose to go for medical care outside. You know why? Because if something happens to them, there's redress. In Trinidad and Tobago, there's none. Where's that doctor who sliced that baby's neck from ear to ear? Where is he now? Is he still practicing? Come on. Let us try and help these individuals. They may be crying out for help, and we don't know. Well, to the Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago, once again, the hosts of Iron Dependency ask that you make a statement on this, please, and assure the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that your doctors, if they are addicted to a substance, there's somewhere that they can get that help. To the Medical Board again, we say over to you one more time. Humble citizens asking you to make a comment on this. Please, we beg of you. It's very serious. All right? So let's go to a break. And when we return, we take some of your calls, take some of your messages, who you want to wish Happy New Year. We want to wish all of you Happy New Year. To those of you on Facebook and YouTube, thank you once again for your love, for your support. We thank the ministry, the Counter Trafficking Union of Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of National Security. We say good morning to the minister and the folks at National Security Ministry for allowing us this opportunity to provide you with these valuable information that we've done for this year. 53 episodes, folks.
Yeah, there are 53 weeks in the year, and it's not a leap year.
53 episodes, all right? And we thank you very much for that support and seeing us through this far. We love you. You on radio. Babel, good morning. And you know, to you, the people on Facebook and YouTube, we love you so much. Thank you. Let's go to this break. And when we return, we wrap up. We just touch on the guy again. Folks, you cannot rape your wife, fellas? All right? There's a charge for that. Don't listen to no means no. Don't listen to nobody who tell you otherwise, that you have a right. If you want to have sex with your wife and she says no, and you forcefully have sex with her, that is a charge, and we're calling on wives to report any husband who does it. Because there are laws now to protect you from this. Okay, this is not 1960. It's 2023, and there are laws to protect you. And Tobago, Tobago. Tobago. Once again, we say farewell to Hochoi Charles. But since he was alive, we've been warning you, Tobago. And all you put us in our place, man. All you bat us back into place. Mind your business. Tobago don't need Trinidad. Really?
Look what's happening now.
Look what's happening now. Did we warn you about this, right? Didn't we? We did. Since you started buying burglar proof, we were warning you. You never listened. And now you're catching up to Trinidad with your murder rate. And the turf war. Should I congratulate you for not listening? But there's a price. You know the old people that are saying, hardest can't hear, they're going to feel. We tried, and we want to thank Mr. Orville London for listening. And he made some moves to set up that rehab facility. But then as soon as he left, as soon as Garvin died, everything went haywire. And Mr. Kelvin Charles, you and Agatha Carrington, I really can't forgive you all for this. Trust me, I cannot forgive you all for this. It's breaking my heart to say this. Enough respect to you all, but you all made a huge error. Because while they're refurbishing this place, instead of you look for staff, so that when you open it, the staff walk right in with the clients. You know what you did? You open it, cut the ribbon, carve your name in marble, and then close it and tell us you're going to look for people to run it now. It never happened. We know how things work. So but right now, Tobago needs a rehab facility. Come January, God's Spare Our Lives, we're going to spend an entire Sunday on Tobago to show you what other islands in the Caribbean do it for their addicts. And you're losing out a humongous amount of US money on medical tourism. Plenty money you're losing where that is concerned. Mark my words. We've tried to warn you. Trim, Mr. Trim, remember when you met me in the airport? We played basketball together. And when we were doing Operation Rescue Tobago, you tell me, frankly, take it down now. Tobago don't need rescuing. How you feeling now, Mr. Trim? Let's go to a break. We'll be back.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, continues to develop and implement effective policies and procedures to prevent and suppress human trafficking. To date, the National Task Force has developed 2 national plans of action against the crime of trafficking in persons. Trinidad and Tobago adopts a 4-pronged approach in its response to human trafficking. 1. Effective identification of victims and witnesses. 2. Prevention of human trafficking. 3. Protection of victims and witnesses. And 4. Prosecution of suspected traffickers. In the Ministry of National Security, we established a specialized unit called the Counter Trafficking Unit to lead and manage Trinidad and Tobago's response to human trafficking. The Counter Trafficking Unit works closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Immigration Division, and international law enforcement agencies to aggressively and proactively investigate and prosecute suspected human traffickers. Human trafficking is a serious crime. Rest assured, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and its agencies remain committed in the fight against human trafficking and will respond with immediate effect when the need arises.
We are the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago, safeguarding human life.
(50/20, 50/25).
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Thank you for staying with us.
Good morning to the Junior Williams.
Morning, and
Never
Happy
misses.
New Year to you when it comes.
Belated birthday greetings and Happy New Year to you,
Yes.
Miss Junior Williams, and all of you who just joining us. Remember, human trafficking is still a thing, so please be on the lookout for that.
Yes.
And Gary, we understand is Gary in studio. Should Gary say something now, Gary? Good morning to you. Morning to Wendy Springer, Rena, Carlson White, Joan Duncan, Victoria Edwards, all of you on YouTube. God bless you all. Thank you for being there for us.
Yes, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
All right.
How you
All right.
manage?
Happy last day of the year.
Same to you, man.
Yeah, same to you. And hope all is well. Hope you had a good Christmas and relaxing, and you're getting ready for another journey with us in the new year.
All right. I understand that you want to take some calls.
Yeah, let's take some calls.
623-937. Yeah.
Gary.
Yes, God.
So and I say good morning to Father Stout, Father Godfrey Stout. Good morning to you and Bishop Harvey, wherever you are.
Yes.
You know, you were with us 12 years ago on the altar in Belmont there. Yes. And you ensured that we...
Should I share some pictures?
Yes, I don't know how Natasha laughs with that. But next time. All right, so Gary, we can take some calls.
All right. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful program. I listen to it every Sunday.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Garth and Natasha. I knew you from the days of Arawaks.
Arawaks?
Yes. Arawaks dance group done by Thomas Mohammed.
Yes. I was a member of Arawaks dance company, yes.
That's right. I and the wife were too. We used to sing with you all.
Say that again?
Myself and my wife, we used to sing with you all.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's your name, sir?
Carrington.
Carrie!
That's right.
What you doing? How you doing, man? Good. Wow.
Going fine. You're going good. I spoke in 2007, but she is all right, you know. I try to take care of her.
Nice.
But
all right.
Still around. When I hear this program with Garth and Gassable, I know that man. But anyway, I said, I know the Garth and Gassable, I was girl. She said, yeah. I remember you're quite distinctly, you know. So
yes.
I try to. But oh gosh, you are doing a wonderful job. I can't, you know. I can't underline how good this program is.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for your kind sentiments, man. And say hello to the family in South for us, all right?
Job.
God bless you.
I wish that you will continue in the new year.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Happy New Year to you, man.
Second other call. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey! And what did I ever say one time, Harvey will be Anyway, I want to say, I'll tell him, I want to surprise him. Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
By the grace of God, I couldn't help but call to wish you and your wife happy anniversary. May God continue to bless you all. I think you all are the best. Seriously, I trust God will continue to bless you all, to have His hand over you all, to continue to work at you all, the commitment that you have shown. And the most important thing, God, is that you showing people that you can return from no matter how far you have gone, you can return to do something good in this land. There's always that opportunity to do something better. And that, to me, is the greatest example in life. Just like in my own case, I try to show people, you're born poor, you don't have to, or you go into politics, you don't have to take drugs, you don't have to be involved in corruption, you can still try to do the right thing. You have done it. Natasha, I wish you the best. God, I wish you the best. And that's all I call to say. Just wish you all the best. May you all continue to go from strength to strength, and may you all continue to love our country and do the best that you can. And I close by saying, may God bless you all. And I love my country, of course.
Before you go, I want to let people know too that 12 years ago we were on the air in the evening, and when we announced that we were going to get married, Harvey called immediately and said, you all have a venue for this wedding.
Yes.
And Harvey gave us the
and true to his word.
True to his word, we were on top of the hill. Yes. Yes. So Harvey, God bless you, and thank you so much too for you and your family for allowing us to be part of history where our lives are concerned. Thank you so much, and continue to do the great work you've been doing too as well. Your national award recipient, much deserving. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And 12 years of success, I did the right thing. May God bless you all.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And I'll call you, okay? Take care.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Blessed morning to both of you.
Morning.
And Happy New Year and happy anniversary.
Hey, happy.
Yes, old friends you're touching base with. So, all the best, and happy anniversary. Happy New Year. God, I hope this new year will bring us blessings, and we will see some reduction in the crime and the drugs and everything. I listen to everything when you talk about Tobago, and you're so correct. Yes, I remember the day. I remember all those signs.
Yeah,
we were there with me and Yvonne.
That's right. That's right.
And Harvey, right? So all the best, you and Natasha. I love you all, even though sometimes I'm not sure if I'm talking to AI. So I don't call all the time. Okay then, God and Natasha, all the best.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Take care.
And Mr. Allison, yes, I have considered contacts, but no, I can't. I don't think my eyes can take it. I don't think contacts are for me. It's the first time you see my face.
Say good morning to Alison Solandi, who out there in New York, never missed a program.
Loyal listeners,
yes, loyal
top fans. Thank you so much.
Joyachi, good morning to you too. And to those of you, again, what would you like to see for the new year? We've spoken so much this morning, but, Happy New Year to all of you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Well, all the best wishes for the coming year. Great programming throughout the year and so on, enlightening and nation building. I just wanted to know when I could engage you on your anthem, Calypso. Very, very well crafted, but controversial nonetheless. But it deserves its airplay. And I hope next year you will be able to get to the big yard with it and your other selection. But as if they keep into the one song criteria.
Yes.
I just wanted to say on the police service advertisement, the free medical and dental is misleading. I can tell you that from my experience, having been a veteran for 28 years. They should probably put out an asterisk, because before I retired, I still have it in fact in my possession, the voucher to go and seek medical attention to get dental work done on eyewear. And if you ask the average police officer or police officer right now, that is a bugbear. There's never money in the vote to pay for you to get your and so on. And under the under a former commissioner, the medical for police officers injured was only to be held at public institutions, meaning once you went to a private institution because of the level of injury or your level of comfort in being attended to, the service would not be paying for any private facility. That is one. The other thing is, I mean, you can't say everything, but people have to be aware that if you're injured whilst not on duty, it's a whole long drawn out process. And if you're sick or incapacitated for more than 3 months, your salary stops. Right? And you may be put before a medical board to determine your fitness to resume duty. But the most humbugging one is if you get injured when you're not on duty, how it is treated. Right?
So would you recommend, sir, before you go, that people have their own insurance policy just in case?
Yes, if you have your own insurance in your community, keep it. And it is important that you keep private insurance, and some insurance recognize the hazard of the job and insure you in that regard. I had that, and I also had medical coverage to cover all them kind of things. Because from before, and this is something that I think this is something that in the welfare part of the association's work they need to take up. The welfare shouldn't just be about getting salary increases, but it all encompasses. And finally, before I leave, you said something early in the piece, Mr. Sinclair, that a police officer who shows no emotion after being involved in a shooting, something wrong with him. I could tell you in my experience, I was involved in a fatal shooting in 2006 on active duty, and I have no regrets because my action saved the life of a colleague who was about to be pulverized within an inch of his life with one of the long ride staff that police officers use and certain arms of law enforcement. I had no regrets. Right? Because I did what I was trained to do and preserve the life of a colleague.
No, well, I said that too, but did you receive any counseling after that?
No, I could tell you about that. No, the only counseling I received was going home to my family and letting them know I was alive and I was safe. I had no counseling, and at that time the system of social workers had just been implemented. There were about 2 of them. I went on my 2 days rest leave and resumed duty the next 2 days. And up to that point, till I retired 2020, I never saw a professional. The police at one time had a police psychiatrist, the infamous Dr. Bontier. I don't think that obtains now. But what I could say is that how the police hospital runs now is 1,000% better than when I enlisted in the job and throughout my career. Okay. Some degree of professionalism has been extended to the facility, and that is commendable. More could be done in terms of there could be the same facility in Tobago and eastern and southern part of Trinidad, but the facility has been the service particularly to retirees like myself is 1,000% outstanding to how it was when I enlisted.
Good, God, that's wonderful news. Okay, Connor, thank you so much. And I'm sure Ms. Ashley is listening to some of the things that you said. I hope that could be addressed going forward. All right. Say good morning to Mr. To Brinsley McKay, who is out there in Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you very much for joining us. As usual, another faithful follower. Mr. Gerard Wilson and Giselle Chance, Vision and Mission, and all the folks at Vision and Mission, Darian, Mr. Fredericks, all of you, we say God bless you to all. Gordon Husbands, good morning to you.
Yeah,
and
Mr. Husbands, how are you?
Hope you're all right, you and the family, Michael Jogi and everybody else who ensured that we had a voice. We thank you so much, and God bless you all. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Gatt. And good morning, Asha. Gatt, I want to ask you something, please. You was in the army in the days of Brigadier Theodore?
Yes, Brigadier Theodore. Yeah, Brigadier Joe Theodore, yes, I was. He was my CO at one time.
Yeah, that was right after the 1970 coup, right?
No.
He old, but he ain't that old.
Nobody not she was old. She acting like
No,
what
I started to play music in Petron right after the coup. So that's why I asked you that.
Oh, 1970 or
No,
90?
no, 1970 after the coup.
No, I was 10 years old then.
I wasn't born yet.
Listen, oh God, Lord Father, 92, 92, oh my God, that's something. Oh my God, Lord Father, 1990.
That's all right, man.
Lord, I can't get after 92, 92. I was this video when Funky Dema who used play the sergeant in Petron and all the functions that the army used to have. After 1992. Yeah. Oh my goodness, what was the voice? Yes, after the 92.
Yes. Sure. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, God.
Morning.
Good morning, Natasha.
Morning.
I want to wish you all a very healthy, prosperous 2024. Praise God that we have survived 2023, and may He give us all the courage and the blessing to continue doing the wonderful work that you all are doing next year. And I hope that people live a more holistic lifestyle. Let your food be your medicine be your food, so enough to go to stimulants. Good show again. Safe trip home, Kat, and see you all next year.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning.
Happy anniversary, Miss Sinclair and Mr. Sinclair.
Morning.
I don't know. Yes, wish that you all will see many, many more. Well, your wifey got a good laugh for she anniversary there. Mr. Morning to Miss Jamal as well too. God see the Holy Spirit movement, brother. How sketch going? Sheldon Aberdeen for the last month of thinking about him. Hope everything is all right with him. You know, keep supporting him. Yes. I'm listening.
Supposedly, you know, we always tell people relapse is part of recovery. And
yes,
you know, he's been struggling a bit, but he's managed
yes,
to hold it.
Yes.
Still have him employed. So that's a
yes.
good thing.
Well, I go hold him in prayer. Hold on to him, God. I mean, it's a good, genuine one, you know. I was in St. James Day about a weekend there a couple of weeks ago, and about some of his comrades. And I was giving him inspiration and stuff through him now. So, you know, so the Holy Spirit just moved me to call him. Just, as I told her, life is a journey and a struggle. And I know there's good people in this corner, like you and Mr. Haddad and stuff and things like that. So I wish him the best, and I hope that, you know, he sees you together with his family. That's what life is about. God bless Tasha, all the thanks for all you have done, and continue to do by the grace of the Almighty Lord. Thanks, God.
Thank you. Respect. And we say good morning. Say good morning to somebody on Facebook, please.
Yes, the Facebook peeps, Cheryl Johnson, Alison Camejo, Marva Sandy. How are you, Miss Sandy?
Oh yes, and we have news for them. Miss Sandy's case was from when we brought it to light. Miss Sandy got the justice that we expected, and we thank the police for getting involved. We thank Mr. Philbert. James Philbert, good morning to you too for intervening. And now the perpetrator has, you know, gotten his just due.
Yes.
So Marva is okay, folks. For those who've been asking, Marva Sandy is
And
good.
she's on the chat, so if you want to say hello to her.
Yes, you can say hello to her on the chat.
On Facebook, Udine Ramjit saying good morning. Catherine Reyes. Catherine Reyes is out in Florida watching. Good morning to you. Happy New Year. Charlene Frederick Turner, morning.
Yes, I'm with you, Turner. Morning.
Pearl Dowlat, morning. Thank you. And Eula Tid, Yvonne Toussaint, Veronica Davis, morning to you and Happy New Year. Ephraim Robinson, thank you very much for your greetings. Who else? Kathy Ann Musgrave.
Yes, as usual.
Beverly
all
Ann
of you.
Cruikshank, morning to you. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year, all of you.
Annette McGuire, morning.
Colin Smith, Catherine Reyes.
Colin Smith, morning.
Good morning, caller. Hello, good morning. Adam Gardner. The Gardner. We're in class 1. Morning to you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Natasha.
Morning. Hey, Annette, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy 12th anniversary to you both, and I wish you all many, many more to come. And enjoy Canada. Please, I know you seem to be working too, but please enjoy. And yes, I'm wishing you all the best for 2024. Thank you all for 2023. Every Sunday, you will never miss a Sunday. Every Sunday, faithfully and religiously, you all are there, and we're there with a thanks. And to all our 95ers, Gary, everybody, happy New Year to you all. You know what I would like to see for the New Year, both of you? I want to see all who bringing in the guns and ammunition arrested and put before the screen that we can see them. I'm fed up of them. I'm fed up. Yes, we need to have them arrested now. Because we see the gunmen, most times on videos, we're not seeing who giving them the guns. We need to see them. Thank you all so much. Much love.
God bless you too. Renee Edwards, morning.
Renee, Annette Agarad Beckles, morning. Thank you very much.
Shirley-Ann Applewhite, who's out there in the US as well.
Cheryl Johnson from Jamaica, morning.
Hey, Jamaica, morning. Jamaica in the house.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Hello, good morning. 6223937. Hello, good morning. And again, we want to wish all of you a really happy New Year. Be safe, please. And remember the fireworks tonight. Look out for the elderly and the animals. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Beth and Natasha. Happy anniversary. I'm a first time caller. I listen to you all the time. But first time I'm calling. I admire what you all said. We have to train the young people. I will give you a little story. My boy worked with his father sometimes. And his father trained him. As soon as he get paid, they went in a bar and drink. And then he do the same thing. As soon as he get paid, he want to go and lie. Lie to his brethren and he drink it out all his body. So that is a bad thing to do, children.
Of course it is.
So,
it is.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, yes, I will get paid, go and work hard. And I have to go and drink something. So foolish, I'm drinking out all the money.
Wow.
So, you all keep there. And all the best for the new year.
You too. You too.
Okay.
Good morning to Wendy Charles, schoolmate. Morning.
Hi. Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you both. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all and you and your family and your loved ones all the best for 2024 and also for Trinidad and Tobago and I-95.5 and all that I'm asking for 2024. Father Lord, heal this nation. We need peace in this nation. We need peace. Heal it, Father Lord, that everyone could walk the road, and go back home to their loved ones safely, right? And for the young guys and them with this gun, I'm begging from my heart, put the weapon down, please. Let's bring back Trinidad and Tobago. And to you, have a good one.
Thank you. And to those of you on YouTube and Facebook, while you're there, just type in yes. Our police officers should have body cameras going forward. For 2024, we like to see, just type in that quick. We just have about 3 more minutes. Just type in that quick. Do you agree that our police officers must have body cameras? Let's start with the recruit training. Let's start training from there. Quickly, if you type in yes, if you agree. If you don't agree, you can tell us too. All right? Hello, good morning. And when you're listening and looking at us from too, you could drop that line too so we could say hello to shout you out. Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, God and Natasha. This is your schoolmate. I take this, yes it is. I take this opportunity to wish you and Natasha a happy anniversary and all the best. I urge you all to continue the good work that you're doing. I pray God's guidance in so doing, your safety, and to all of Trinidad and Tobago. We are praying for a less violent society for 2024. To the young people, I urge you to put down the guns.
Yes.
That and Natasha, we do appreciate the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, do appreciate the job that you all are doing in trying to save our nation. You have done excellent work for 2023, and I do look forward to both of you, 2024, to continue the excellent work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, and want to wish you two all the best and the work you continue to do for our country. And on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, thank you so much. God bless you too.
And thanks as well for your continued support.
I'm Blackie, glad man. Happy New Year, boy.
To you both.
Okay, Joanna, take care. Right.
Yeah, so everybody's saying yes.
Yes. Look at the chat, folks.
Yes,
Everybody's
on
agreeing so
Facebook.
far. Yes,
Yes,
all
to the
recruits
body
should
cam.
start training with body cameras. All police officers, come on, keep voting so that they can come back to it and see after the program how many of you agree that Trinidad and Tobago police officers must start wearing body cameras in 2024. Do you agree? Just type yes in the chat. Hello, good morning. Gary, you still there?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
God and Natasha, blessings to you. Continue blessings in your anniversary, your marriage and stuff. This Twiggy here. God. Blessings to go forward for 2024. Carnival season, my brother. Yes. And keep up the wonderful job you all doing on that this program. Yes, it's really, really, we need it because you know the place going helter-skelter.
Yes. Yes. And that's 3 folks figure will be at ISO House come Carnival 2024.
24, yes.
Will be at Caruso.
Yes, so Trinidad and Tobago, let's do something. Let me get back the peace and loving place, country, you know, before.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do something here. So I-95, I want to say thanks again to I-95, man. Yeah, pick up I-95 all the time. Yeah, and all the listeners, yeah. Well, they have a blessed one. Yeah.
Same to you, Piggy. Same to you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year to Oba and everybody else in the family. And
So,
12 o'clock, people.
well, I mean, it's 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, but 12 o'clock there. And we have to go keep voting. Even after the program, we can continue to vote. Should our police officers have body cameras going in 2024? Would you like to see it? Please keep voting. Send in your comments. Let's have a consensus here. In the meantime, we want to wish you all the best. Gary, let me see your face now. Short man, show me the studio quick. Who come in to do the news? Let's introduce the newscaster. And we thank you all so much for being with us in 2023. And we look forward to 2024 that's more fulfilling, as Joanna and they said, a more peaceful one. All right? Still in. Hello. All right.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you both. Yeah.
Yes, same to you, my brother.
Happy anniversary.
And thanks.
Oh, wow. I mean, like crazy glue, eh? Stuck together.
Go and read the news, please.
Yes, congrats.
You all take care. All right. Happy New Year. We gone. We out. Take care. Bye-bye. Major news up next.
Broadcasting from Port of Spain, Trinidad. This is